Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. Back for another design team project for WhichCraft Do, but it's a 2 for 1, 2 birds, 1 stone type thing. We're also going to add this to our altered book. This week I've been away on the road again and I wanted to play with some paper bags. Didn't have anything with me to make my paper bags because I usually make my paper bags and I usually like to have a stash of them sitting around. I'm looking for glue while I talk because I just realised I've run out of glue. That'll have to do. Anyway, so I went out and bought some paper bags. What I thought were paper bags, to find when I got them back to the hotel room and looked at them, they were paper sacks. Now, we've all used paper sacks before and they come, you know, we all end up with these where we've been shopping. So what we're going to do is another way to use our paper sacks. These things, if you can use them like that, by all means, you can use them like that, but they add so much bulk to your journal. The easiest way to do this is to very carefully, I'm going to use one of the small ones, and then we'll show you on the big version, is just to very carefully take this apart, okay? So this is what you've then got. Refold it in those creases so that we're back down like so, okay? And then what we're going to do is do it like our normal paper bags, but we're going to trim off a little bit and make our new section. So I'm just going to sit this guy in here, and what I'm going to do, now you can rule this and measure it and all the rest. I just want to get that in there properly. I'm going to reopen him out, refold him the other way to make this one. It's a bit hard with the smaller version. You'll find it's quite a lot easier when we get to the bigger one. So I'm going to sit that in there just so I've got something for my blade. You could do it with your scissors if you're happier with your scissors. And we're just going to take off, I don't know, a centimetre or so, depending on the size of your paper bag. Okay, so we've made our slit. What we want to do is take this slit around to this section here so that we're just going to end up with this is still our full length and the rest will be trimmed back. Now that I've got my slit in there, I can just use my scissors and recut that over to that section, just to there, okay? Do the same on the other side, back to that full length section just there, and to there, all right? Trim that little bit off, and trim that little bit off, and what we've now got is that. Now you can round the corners on this one if you like. Depending on the sort of look you get, you can use your corner rounder. And what I'm actually going to do is take out that little bit, that double section there that's a little bit thick where the paper bag has actually been joined together. Just again, so we don't have quite as much bulk. I'm just going to round that corner, fold it down, fold that bit up, and now you've got a normal paper bag. Simple as that. Okay, so you've got rid of that bulk. You've now got a little bit extra in the length as well. We can just glue this bit shut. If we, oh, come on, you've been working all morning. I've been sitting here playing all morning and cleaning up and sorting things out and all the rest. So, all right. Fold that one over. And now you've got your standard little paper bag. But it's a paper bag with gussets. It's the easiest way to do them. Okay, so that was just picked up at like a $2 shop, $1 shop type thing. And I think they cost me $2.50 and I think I got 8 of them. But yeah, I got them back to the hotel and went, oh, I don't want sacks. I wanted bags. Right, so let's go to our bigger ones. These are our ones that we find when we're shopping. We go out, we purchase something, And everything these days, of course, is coming in paper, no plastic. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting quite a few of them. So I've peeled off the label. It just had a sticker label on that one. And again, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So very carefully, try not to rip it. Sometimes it's a bit hard. And you'll just slowly work your way and take that glue. They're usually not glued that well anyway, and it's just a section. So we're just going to peel this bit off. Right. So, okay. So here's this one. We'll need to peel this one as well, because this will have a little bit of glue in it down here. Like so. We can clean up all these bits if we want, depending on which way we're going to do it. Right. So one of these paper bags, paper sacks, sorry, which we're going to turn into just a standard gusseted paper bag, will give you two. It will. So, hang on, I'll measure this one what it was in the first place. So this one was that length, wasn't it? So let's find a ruler. This was a bit over 10 inches. 10 1/4 inches, or about 26 centimetres. And I like this width because it fits for what I want in my journals. And I'll show you in a moment. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to refold those ones back in on themselves just to give that gusset all the way down. Give that just a little bit of a crease just to reaffirm those gusseted pieces. Okay. Now I think this side's probably my better side. So I'm going to have him as my flap. This piece I'm going to cut out. But I don't want to lose all of that, and I don't need to. So I'm going to take off, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch, something like that. Yeah, I'll take off about that, and I'll use that ruler as my guide, I suppose. Just going to reopen those ones out again for my gusset. Like so, just to give me room to get my mat in there. Go that way, Kylie. No, go that way. Just so that I can get my mat in there and I can start that off. So, set my ruler down. I want to go a little bit further in, about there. And now I'm just going to slice down that, okay? Now I can use my scissors again, and we're going to this section. So where am I at the moment? What cut, what didn't cut? Right, so I'm going there. And now I'm going across to that fold. And I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Probably should be using bigger scissors or the rest of my knife still. Look, you can measure it if you want to be nice and straight and all the rest, but otherwise, let's just chop. Right, to there. We're going to trim this bit up this fold, that one, and we'll do the same on that one. That bit can go. This will fold in, and now we've got our new flap down here. Simple as that. How easy. All right, pop your corner rounder in if you want to round your corners. And on this side, and we can fold that over and glue that down. Now, as I said before, I want this in our altered book that we're doing. So if I go to the next page, which I've already inked, I want this to go that way, okay, in like that, so that I'll have a side opening pocket. So really, I want it to finish about there. It's going to go in there like that, and it'll finish about there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, move that, set that on here, and I'm going to just trim it straight off at that point. try and keep it round about straight. Most of the times these bags are not wonderfully straight. So if you can see that, we're on this line and then we're above this line up here anyway. So you're going to have a little bit of variance with them anyway. So that's why I tend not to worry too much about being too perfect with them, because the bags are never perfectly square to start with. All right. So there's that one. One ready to do. This one, we're going to get rid of our handles. And again, you'll see in here, they just have an extra piece of cardstock. Craft paper, actually, I think it is. And if we carefully pull that up, I know you can't see, but I'll show you in a second. Because again, there's usually not that much glue in there. So just carefully do it. And what you're doing is pulling off this section that has your thread. Okay, make sure you don't go all the way through there. You can leave a little bit of the one that's holding the handle, not thread, is it? Your handle in there, but don't go all the way through. So I know you can't see that, sorry, at the moment. It's a bit hard to hold it up so that you can. Pull that bit out. Tidy that section up a little bit. Do the same on the other side. Now you can see a little bit, can't you? So I'm just working my way slowly. Take him off. Okay. There's one. And I'll tend to go from both sides. Oh, that bit's easy. Some of them are easier than others. I've had some where I've been taking the handles off these bags for other things that I've ended up losing because I've gone too far through. Depends if you're covering up the front or the back or whatever you want to call it, and you're going to cover up where you've gone too far in there. Right, there's that bit. So we have the two of those. Tidy that bit up a bit. So now we've got this section. Okay, this is my good section, because you can see I've got dodgy bits down here. So I'm going to have this bit as my opening. And I'm going to do exactly the same bit down here. And now I'll have two paper bags with gussets. Does that make sense? So again, I'm going to open this out. I'll open up all those gussets now because it's a bit easier with the size that we've got now to what we had. Okay, let's have a look at that size. Yeah, see, I can take quite a bit off that because it's still a lot larger than what I need. I need to go that way, don't I? Again, I'm going to slide that into the corner of my craft mat. So we can take this one as a bigger one. So let's use our 1-inch ruler. Okay. And I'm just going to go from the start of my craft mat and along. Make sure I've cut that all the way through. Again, I'll use my scissors to here. You could keep turning it around your craft mat if you want to use your blade for all of it. And we'll take it to here. So we're going straight through all the gusseted area so that we've just got one actual side, the front or the back, whichever way you've decided it. We've only got the one that's gone all the way down. Again, trim that up. Trim that one up. So now we've got our dodgy bit in here. There's no other word for it. It's the dodgy bit. Okay, I like the dodgy bit. Once again, we can round those corners. Take that way. Put him in there. Round both of those. Go back with our gusset so that it's all folded in. Now this one's going to be a little bit thicker, and that's why we've done this one as well, so that I can show you. I just need to trim that bit off. So the easiest way for this one is to sit your ruler on where this bit finishes. Sit him down and crease this up. Okay? Crease him up, crease him over, get your bone folder or something strong again, and give that a good solid push. How's that? So now we've got two. Okay, so we know that one fits in the altered book that we're going to do. This one, of course, sitting down here, is a little bit wide still. So we need to chop a little bit off that. But what I want to do with this one, just to show you a different end, I'll sit it down. Right, I'm going to make a mark with my pencil. It's around about that line. I'm just going to rule that this time. And what I'm going to use, if I can find them, is some of my fancy scissors. What I'm looking for is my pinking shears. Oh, there they are. So I've just got my pinking shears just to give me that. And I'll go straight through the lot of it. I'll go onto that line in the middle. Any of your fancy scissors will work, but I like the pinking shears on them because then they still look like paper bags. Like that. Okay. So that's that one. We can glue this bit down. And this is the one we'll work on, I think. Right. You could use your glue stick for this. I like the extra strength of my normal liquid glue, so I'm just going to do that. Right. Done. Put that one away. Give it that good crease over and fold it down. Give it a good solid push. And there's our new little gusseted bag that will fit into our altered book. Right, oh, I need new foam, don't I? So I want to just run along those to give them a little bit of age. And that's why this is always so dead. All right, going to go all the way around and we're going to start covering this. Now I want to use a couple of different WhichCraft Do collections today. I've got that. I'm only going to see that side, so I don't need to ink the other side, but what I do want to do is the other side of that gusset, so the inside piece of the gusset. Same with down here and in there. Edge those just to give them a little bit of age. I want it to look like this bag's been round for a long time, not just made just then. And I'm going to do the same on the inside of these, just so they look hand worn, they've been held, they've had fingers all over them. They're brown. We know they're new, well, fairly new, depends on how long you've shopped with them, but it'll make them look like they've been sitting out the back for ages and they're just a little bit worn. Right, we're going that way. So, a couple of the ranges that I want to do with this one. I'm going back to, as you all know, or some of you probably don't, I lost our computer. So, I had a lot printed out already. And it's a matter of going back and downloading all the ones that I had prior. So, I've been getting some new ones, but some of my favourites I have yet to download. But I've got a few left in this. And this is Vintage Pages and Ephemera. I like these because they've given me my bigger sheets, book pages, different bits and pieces like that, and then it goes into some smaller bits. So this is what I want to use on this, and I'm just going to pull this one out. I just want it for a background. So we'll pull that one out. Oh. And I can trim this down. It's going to go that way, okay? I'm not putting it that way because this is sitting in my journal that way, and I'll be looking at it from that view, and it's got a side tuck. So we'll trim around this one. Oh, I thought my ruler was too long. I thought I had my 40-inch one out. It's not a 40-inch. I don't know what it is. Set that one there. Because this will need to be trimmed down a little bit more, but at this stage we're just going to get it down to the size that we need. I will link in the description below the sets that I'm using. There'll be 2 sets. No, it's 3 sets. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I want my background page on my journal is from 1 set. It's not my grungy papers anymore because I'm running short on those and I haven't yet re-downloaded those. It is from Decorative Papers Mega Pack is the background that I'm using. Right, so here's this one. I'd like to give it a little bit of a border. So I'm thinking I like this section. I'm only going to see about that much of it, but that works. That works quite well. So I'm going to trim it off about here, and I'm going to trim it off round about there. So we'll do this one first because then we can see where we might need to angle our side one. Right. There. All right, so I'm just going to trim that straight down there. Like so, put that there to be used later on. This one, as I said, is going to go here. A little bit of a border. And I've made my pencil mark up there. And I'm going to make my other pencil mark down there. So you can see that this is... So I've had to go like that for this paper bag. Okay? So we'll trim that. Down like that. That makes a nice tag on its own. All right, and what I'm going to do is use my darker ink and just run along to give more of that nice edging. So I'm not going into it, I'm just giving that burnt look on the side, and I'm running my foam straight down. Just like so. Just so that it looks like I haven't cut it as much because it had that beautiful deep edge up the top. So that's this one. And he can be adhered on there right now. So I'll grab my glue book. And we will grab that because the other one was about finished. This one doesn't look crash hot either. Let's finish this one as well. That's meant to be blue. Right. Oh, can you hear all my tools rattling? Sorry. Right. I'm starting up in that corner so that I can move it as I need to. Down. Right. Give it a good push. It will make your bag a little bit crinkly, foldy, curly. That's the word we're looking for. It will make your bag a little bit curly to start with, but by the time you put it in your journal and close your journal, the next day it's going to be fine. Right, so there's that one. I want a pocket on the front of this one as well. So, you know, any of these other ones I can use. But I want something that's going to actually look like it should be. See, I could just have a little bit of wording that's down there because I know this one's going to fit. But it did have in here, quite like these grey ones, and this. Let's have a look at this Bank of England one, just to give it a little bit of oomph, if I can get him out. Sorry, I know these are a bit there, that sort of one. So I've printed these in bigger versions and smaller versions, but I want for the size, go there, I reckon, yeah. See, and I can get that Bank of England part in there. So we'll just chop the whole thing out to start with. Move that, grab that. Right. And yes, I know, I should have had them pre-cut out, but I hadn't quite worked out what I wanted colour-wise, and so I usually just allow it to happen as I'm going. I'd like to say I'm organised. I'm not organised. I'm not organised in any way, shape or form. I have a vague idea of what I want to do at the start, and I'll pick out a paper range that I quite like, and then as I'm going, it'll just happen. So that's why I usually have to cut these out as I go, sorry. Right, so here's this piece. We want it to be the same width as this one. I can trim a little bit off the bottom and a little bit off the top because it doesn't need to be quite that long, and that's why I've made this a little bit longer anyway. So what we'll do to start with is we'll trim a little bit off the top, a little bit off the bottom so that we can get our exact size. So just down to where my wording starts. So I'm taking not much. There's that one. We'll do the same down the bottom, which will just get us our design going, and that should be about the same as well. Yep, so that's about 1/2 centimetre. I'm assuming 1/4 of an inch, something like that. Now let's have a look. So again, I'm giving myself the same border down the bottom, but now I can work out where I want this to actually go. So if I set it with the border, I want Bank of England dead smack in the middle, and with my pencil that I've just chucked away, I can mark this, I can mark this, I can mark it down there, and I can mark it down there. So now I've got my sections that I need to cut. So I'll just match up my pencil lines, trim these. These make wonderful collage pieces, so don't ever throw away those little bits. And that one. Let's have a look. So it should match that one beautifully. So we're going to do the same thing, and we're just going to go along the edge just to give it that burnt look across the edge. Right, on all 4 sides, because we'll see all 4 sides, and then we can glue the front on. So that's my front, my top. We're going to glue around those 3. If I can get the glue to come out. Here it comes. Not good. I think I need my stronger glasses. I can't really see. Sorry if I'm everywhere. They're here somewhere. I might have to change them over. Right. That one's better. Right. So that's that. Lifting that bit up. And what we're going to do is we're going to try not to grab the glue. I want to match this section up with that one. Same border down the bottom. Like so. So now what I've got is my pocket going down here. Okay. Now, see these? I hope you don't chuck these away. Tear that off. Tear that section off. Have you used these? I love these. Wind them out. They are just paper. Now you may need, depending on how well they've been glued, you may need to trim that last section off because it is full of glue. And that way you can open these out they make wonderful ruffles with your sewing machine because they're so tightly screwed up. But look at this. Look at that. Aren't these lovely? So I mean, sewing down there, you'll get the most wonderful ruffles. They also, if you can sew them along, you'll get them that way as well. So we're just going to wind this guy out. I've got a drawer, I reckon, full of these. I love them. They're great to stamp on. You've got to be careful when you're stamping on them. You're not going to get a perfect image because they are so crinkled. Yes, you could flatten them out, but what's the fun in having a non-crinkled crinkle? That's a good word, isn't it? Right. Look at that. How awesome are they? I love them. Love, love, love them. So, what are we going to do with this? Let's have a look. They will tear. You can stamp. Let's stamp a number on them. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's go. Now, you all know my favourite stamps, and they're all in here. I finally got Kerry to send me the proper cover again for this one. This is these. You know I love them. You know I use them all the time. So now I've got my cover again, and it's sitting there so that you can all see this set. This set is awesome. This is what got me into WhichCraft Do many years ago when they first put this one out. So, whoops, and that's these clear ones that are in here that I've just dropped a pile of. Right, so I want something big, chunky. Either that one or that one. That one, I think, will work an absolute treat on that. So we need to get a block to put that one on. We need a little stamping mat. And I want a solid, deep colour. So I'm going to use Fallen Leaves in my verse. Fine. All right. I'll pop that in there. And what I want is just a rustic version down here. So I'm just going to stamp it. It's not going to stamp out perfectly, but you've got all those crinkles. And I love them. Love them, love them, love them. So what I'm going to do is tear a little bit more off this side so that it's torn both sides. It's not the easiest thing in the world to tear, I'm telling you now. And I've usually got to use my fingernails. And I'm going to tear down a little bit that side. See what I mean? It's not the easiest thing in the world. And we're going to tear down that side. And then I'm going to glue it. I want it just down here like so. And we're going to glue it so that it sits all scrunched up. Okay? So what I'm going to do is use my glue stick. I'm just sitting that on that book. Hang on, I'll show you what I'm going to do. And I'm using my glue stick that way so that it gets into all those creases without actually straightening it out. So I'm just putting my glue stick on and I'm just doing it in little swizzles, I suppose would be the best word for it. And when we stick that down here, and I'm going to keep scrunching it up. Right. How awesome does that look from a paper sack? Right, so we've got our basic thing going. What I want to do with this is make some room. Put that one there, that one there, that one over there. Let's just clean up a little bit before we go on to the next step. That's enough, isn't it? Right, so let's pull out our book. Just this one. And as I said before, I'm just going to move you. Right, the two kits that we're using are, this is my Mega Papers pack, and I'll show you those ones. And we're also using Vintage photos, frames and elements. So, these are my papers. Just a little bit going on, a little bit of colour in them. Look at this. Make wonderful backgrounds where I just want to see something little going on. I really like this. Yes, I know, that's me, that's grungy. So my two favourites, I think, in this are that one and that other green one. Oh, I like that one too. So we're down to two. That one. I just like them all. All right. I had to put my, that's where I printed them out the other night and left them sitting on the office desk. And then my husband came in and started putting his stuff there and they've all curled. Of course, I'm just going to put a paper clip on those ones to keep them all together till I get a chance to put them in my books. Right, so I want to cover this. These, of course, give me both pages. And what I'm working on is that one. Oh, gee, I love that. Isn't that beautiful? But I am going to lose a lot. So if you look, this is going to sit in here. This does match that beautifully, doesn't it? Yep, we're going to go this one. Simple as that. So what I'm going to do is just fold that in half. And you can see my printer wasn't printing wonderfully well and it was missing the top sections of them. So that's in half to where this comes out. And that should fit my book beautifully. So I'm going to just trim it straight down there. I'll do that. On there and on there. So that I've literally split the page in half. That's for my left side. This is for the right side. I'm going to trim the bottom and top bit off so that one can be actually against the page and I don't get that white mixed up with it. All right, we'll adhere this one. If we've got time, we'll do the left-hand page as well. But at this stage, we're just going to do this one. And then I can adhere that down there. Again, see, our book is not straight. So we need to lift this side up a little bit. And that'll go in there like that. And I'm still leaving that little bit of a gap in there so it's not quite too bulky. So that'll sit in there. And that one will sit in there. That works really well with it. Right, to do that, I'm going to glue that bit and then I'm going to glue the rest of my page so that I've got this section to line up here without getting it further into the spine. Before I do that, I need to ink that centre section of this because I can't get back into it later on. Whereas all my other edges, I can. Right. So this one will have that. The rest of the book will have that. We'll do the rest of the book first. So I'm just going to grab an old page that I can sit in here. Just go through there. I don't need to go too close to the spine because I'm going on to the other page for that. This needs to come over here so that I'm only getting the page that I want and not the rest of the book. That one down here. Cover the whole page. Make sure you get your corners. You can always go back with your corners if anything started to lift with your liquid glue anyway. And I want to do this page down here. Okay, so just a little section down there. Move those. Like so. That bit and that bit. Right. So we're all glued up. We need to lift this bit up a little bit because the page is not quite square. I can move that down there. Straighten him up as I go. How straight's that? Not very. Give that a push. Work out all your creases as you go. There's no bubbles in it. Turn it over if you find it's easier. Work your way down that way. Now, as I said, we're working in the altered book, so I'll put this in the two playlists, one for the WhichCraft Do design team playlist and the other one for our altered book playlist. Right, that can all be trimmed up, and I'm going to actually get my big long scissors for that one. Move that up, and I can just follow, make sure I've just got the one page. You'll do exactly the same on the left-hand page as what we've done with this page. So that's just, you know, rinse, repeat type thing. Follow your page up. Turn him round, do the bottom section. I might need to swap back to my smaller scissors for the last little bit of this bit. Because these ones go right to the tip. Like so. And then we've got our top bit up here. Let's see how we go with that one. I'll start down there. Just to start it. Much rather my blade for that bit, sorry. Let's go that way. Much happier using my blade. But you can just use your scissors if you're more of a scissor person. Right. So I've just popped my cutting mat underneath that page. That'll give me a more even cut. Right, there we go with that one. I can now ink all the way around that. What are we going to for time? Yeah, time-wise, it's not too bad. I've got to hurry. And of course, in a true and just world, this will have dried beautifully and not been so squishy and soft now. So here's this one. We'll get our bag. Now our bag, what I want to do, look at that. Yes, it fits that paper beautifully, doesn't it? I'm actually going to glue just those three sides so that I've got a top pocket, I've got a pocket here, and then I've got this gusseted pocket there. So that's my top. Always make sure, always double check. I'm gonna give it a fair whack of glue because it's a heavy bag. All right, double check still I'm on the right size. Just lately, the way my brain's been going, it's been all over the show, and I keep I'm doing it more and more often these days, upside down and inside out and all the rest. And back up this side. Now you could have this as a full lift out pocket if you like, in which case I'd pop some beautiful stuff going on the back as well. All right. We're going to adhere that to our page. Somewhere in the centre. Like so. Give that a good solid push. And again, in the real world, not the YouTube world, you would allow that to sit there and dry perfectly prior to going on to the next step. Okay, so what I'm going to do is close it up while I show you how to make some fake cabinet cards. So that'll hold that all in, it'll hold that glue in, and we'll do these. Now, this set. Love this set. And you'll know last time I was playing with the new photos and people and all the rest. But what we're going to do, and I've got a couple here ready to go in. So we're going to make some cabinet cards. Look at these. And, okay, these have just been printed out on copy paper. They are so easy to do. So what you've got in this set are your bigger photos, which are, let's have a look. What are we running in? 9.5 centimetres, not quite 3 3/4 by 3 1/4, or a bit over 8 centimetres. I don't think there's a real size. So you've got a couple of ones of those. You've then got your next size down. I think I'm missing some pages there. Next size down. Lots of photos. Then your tiny, tiny size. Then you've got words to go on there. You've got blank ones so that you can pop your own words on there, either handwritten words, stamps, things like that. You've got photo corners, if you want to actually put them in so that they look like they're in an old album. Aren't these beautiful? With the full gusseted bits, side fold bits, so that you can fold them down and your photo can actually sit in them. And then we've got our frames. And then we've got backs. So depending on the size of your photo that you want to use, okay. So we'll use one of the larger ones now, since we've done, and then I can show you the 3 sizes. Does that make sense? So we might use, let's say, these gentlemen. What we're going to do to start with, of course, is cut these out. Prior to that, we're going to work out our frame. So we'll go into the frames down here. Those ones aside. Right, frames for this size. They should be these 2, 3, 4. Yep. You are that size. I might have printed a couple of these out twice because I liked them so much. Right, we'll pull those ones out. I think it's 36 pages or 37 pages. Massive amount of pages anyway. So these are the frames that match your larger photos. And then they've got backs that match. So I'm just going to set out the frames. Right, so we've got 3 sheets of frames. Pick a frame that you like for the photo that you want. Okay, I've got this one. I'm thinking coffee. I love that frame, but I've already used her. This one's quite nice, quite old. I don't want the marble. I quite like that, actually. Let's go that. Let's go that frame. Right, first things first, I find it's easier to cut out your centre, okay? You will always find it's easier to cut the centre piece out. Just looking to see what I did with my smaller ruler. There it is. I might move that one away. Right, so cut your centre out first. If you just have scissors, make a cross in the centre and then you can cut around it that way. This is why I like my blade. If you've got a trimmer with a little V blade, not a rotary blade, a little V blade, you can do it in your trimmer because your V blade will stop, you know, right on the spot. All right, but you'll find it's easier to cut your frame part, your centre out first while it's still on the rest of the page. Okay, so there's that. Now we can cut our actual frame out. So we'll go down there like so, and I'll take it out this side as well. Down there, down here. And get rid of that one. We'll take this side off. so that we've got our frame. Now we'll get our photo and we can actually have a look at where our frame is going to go. Okay, so I like this one and I want it down a little bit so that they're more in the centre. You'll find your frame is exactly the same size as your photo. So we know we can cut down here and here. But because I want to pop the frame down a little bit, I can have the top bit across there. This one I'm actually going to take a little bit into that white, and I'll show you why. So I'll trim out this bit. Like so. Do the same down this side. I'm going just past that photo size on that side. And I'm just taking this just a little bit past the photo. Okay, like so. Top piece I know I can trim off because I'm lifting them up in the frame and not down. So here's my photo now. Okay, so if I sit this on here like so, there we've got them nicely centered. Whereas if I'd sat it further up here, I've got more of the guys behind. It's just a me thing. So when we stick this down, I'm going to go in here. I know it's the same size as my frame. And there I've got them in like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is pop our glue on our frame. So we're going to go, I know I'm all the way up there, or just about all the way up there. So right at the edge, a little bit more down your sides. And it's going to go all the way down both sides. Right, and then across the bottom. Just there. Okay. Now this one, make sure we've got it up the right way. It's going to sit in here, just down a little bit from the top. I want to even it up. Like so. There's my photo on. If I need to trim anything up down there, I'll do that now. What have I got on there? Glue is what I've got on there. Like so, right? So there's the front of our frame. Now these ones are backs. So these will go, see how they fit that? We're going to trim this one out now. But we're not going to actually stick it onto the back of our photo just yet. What I like to do with these, put you there, trim me all. And you, like so, pick all that up. Manila folder, I know, I love manila folders. I use them over and over and over again. So what I'm actually going to do is adhere this onto my manila folder. It gives it extra strength and it makes it that little thick thing that's like a cabinet card. Such an easy hack, I suppose. All right, so I'll glue this, which is our backing. All the way around. Told you, I'm throwing things around left, right and centre today. Just going to stick that on. Give him a bit of a push. Cut around that. And I'm going to use my scissors because it's still very wet. And if I use my knife too much, it'll want to pull it. So I'm just going to Here's this one. Go up. I love manila folders. You can use them for so many things, and you find them so cheap. A lot of mine have come from op shops. I've got so many of them, it's not funny. Different sizes, slightly different weights, some of them, slightly different colour ranges. So I'll get them from op shops. I will get them when school goes back, just after school's gone back, and all the school supplies are out so cheap. So now we've made it a little bit thicker. Now it's going to go onto that. Okay, so our cabinet card's started to get some strength in it now. Again, we're going to stick this bit down. Grab another piece of scrap paper. So we're going to just do our standard glue all through the back of our photo. Down. Go on there. Adhere that one onto this one. Because it's a glue stick, you've got time to manoeuvre it if need be. And if you're a bit wonky, you can trim it up. That's fine. So again, because it's all still wet and it's only lightweight copy paper, I'm not giving it too much of a push, but I'm knocking it down as I go. All right. So that's got some nice solid bits to it now. Trim a little bit off there where I've not gone quite correctly. A little bit up there. Now with my darker ink again, I'm just going to go all the way down there. So instead of having that being seen, it's going to have that darker edge. So see how I'm just running across the top? Do that down all four sides. Down here. And then to finish it off so that it really is a cabinet card, and it's come from the photographers and all the rest. Now turn it over, and back to these. Sorry, got a hair in my mouth. As well as my numbers, there are 3 signatures, and I use these signatures all the time for my photos. So they're usually already... So I've got this one. They're nearly always on blocks because they just sit beside me. So that's this one. And then I will usually just pop them up. So again, back into this. I'm just going to bend that down while it's drying so that it's nice and straight. And then I just use my grey in it, in the first fine. Give it a little bit of an ink. Make sure your signature's up the right way. And then I will pop it on an angle, or I'll pop it straight. Just depends on where I'm going and on what day and what my mind's up to. So that now what we've got is a cabinet card. Now you can put your wording down there if you like, all those wonderful labels. So what we've now got are the 3 sizes in these. Okay, and each one has become a cabinet card. How easy are they? Don't they look awesome? And so if you go back to our little paper bag, which has been sitting here nicely drying, there it is, look at that. So I can tuck a pile of photos in there, all sorts of secrets. I can tuck this one down there. I could tuck another big one, tag or something down here. We can pop some lace on it. But don't these look awesome? How easy are they? Wouldn't they be great for just a day? Print them out, sit down, make up a pile of faux cabinet cards. Now these two, and I will admit I didn't do it with this one, before I've adhered the photo to the frame, I've actually gone into that frame and just dabbed my dark ink on the inside of that frame just to give it a little bit of depth again. And I've done that on both of those. And you can see the difference where this one doesn't have it. So it's up to you which way you want to go. But wouldn't they just be... You think of them in a journal and you think of this sort of gusseted bag and it's full of all these old family snapshots and all the rest. How easy is that from one of your shopping bags? And as I said before, you will get two. By all means, you could do one that side as well if you wanted to and have the two of them. We've already got our papers sitting there ready to go on the other side. It is rinse and repeat, so I won't bore you going over and doing the other page. Well, I will do that in a moment, and that then all goes into our altered book. So I haven't even stuck this one down, have I? Like so. That closes like that, and it's all into our altered book, and it's all there. Thank you for watching. I hope you've liked it. Do go over to WhichCraft Do, have a look at their digital pages. You will find in the link below, apart from telling you which ones I've used, the 3 kits that I've used, you will also find a special code that they have beautifully, wonderfully done for us, that if you use the code that's down in the description box, go down to that description box, use that code when you're purchasing your digitals, and you will get 20% off, I think. Oh, I've forgotten. Have a look. It'll be written in the description box. Told you my head's not with it at the moment. Go down, have a look. It's all written down there. And it's written down there so that I don't have to keep trying to remember it. Oh, my word, sorry. If you've liked this, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love you to subscribe. Leave me a comment. Ask me questions. I do get back to you. Thank you all, guys. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.